This
All good
conference will now be recorded.
Great.
We can start at your leisure.
Okay, all right. Well, good afternoon to everybody, and I'd like to call our Thursday, August 20, 2020 TPO meeting to order. And our first order of business is to look at our approval of the July 16, 2020 minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review those minutes? Are there any questions?
John,
I'm sorry, Scott.
I apologize. You may be looking at the first agenda that I sent out erroneously.
Oh, you're right. I am. Sorry, I got my paperwork backwards. Let me see if I can find the right one.
Okay.
So.
While you're doing that, John, I'd like to recognize that I think I see Sarah Carter. Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back.
Good to see you, Sarah.
Yeah. All right. So welcome back, Sarah. So let me apologize to everybody. Let me try that once again. Sorry, I got two agendas sent by Scott, so I apologize, just to explain, but not an excuse. So let me welcome everybody to our September 17th, 2020 meeting, and go ahead and call this to order. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from August 20th, 2020 that was attached to your agenda?
John, those minutes, I'm going to ask that be tabled until the next meeting. We didn't have them prepared in time.
All right. All right, so moving on to the presentation of Connect Central Virginia 2045 Long Range Transportation Plan.
Okay, what we're going to do, folks, is do a brief presentation on some of the updates that have been made since our last meeting, and then we'll have opportunity for any questions you might have. We're going to open up a public hearing if any members of the public would like to provide comment or ask questions, and then we'll move on from there. I'd like to recognize Phil White from EPR first, who's going to make a brief presentation on some of those updates. We can't hear you, Phil.
We'll have to ask the organizer to become the presenter. Here we go. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Okay.
Yes, we can.
Well, after a year-long process that involved productive dialogue with local staff, TTC members, policy board members, and VDOT, as well as public engagement that yielded almost 1,000 survey responses to the online survey and outreach with over 350 residents at public intercepts, we've arrived with a strong plan that'll position the Central Virginia region to get the funding that it needs to build on a legacy of smart transportation investments. Unlike previous iterations of this plan, this update will be a living document through the My Sidewalk element. Residents will be able to go online, they'll be able to see the project list and some of the data that we use to develop the plan for themselves. And as information becomes available and new projects come along, staff will be able to refine and update the project list and the plan before the 2050 update. So since our last meeting with you, we received a number of comments and recommendations from local staff, from the TTC members, from you all, and from VDOT. And those including Appomattox County in the demographics and land use chapter, expanding the discussion of the relationship between transportation and land use, enhancing the discussion of environmental justice and environmental justice demographics, including a discussion of the James River Heritage Trail and related trail extension projects. We added a couple projects to the bike ped project list. We made the discussion of travel demand management more clear and to avoid confusion with references to the travel demand model, as the public might not be as familiar with those concepts or the acronyms. We also, per VDOT's recommendations, added a number of existing conditions maps to the State of the System chapter, and we made references to elements from VTrans, the statewide long-range plan, more clear. For example, the UDAs that are in the region, the regional network, and the corridors of statewide significance that traverse the region. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for your comments throughout the process and your participation in helping us engage with the region. And I'll turn it back to Scott for the next portion.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Before I want to talk a little bit about that My Sidewalk platform that we're going to where we're going to put the plan online. But before I do that, does anyone have any questions on the draft that was presented to you, on the updates that have been made since the last meeting, or any other questions for EPR?
Scott, this is Dean. You know, even since we last talked, our effort in planning in Madison Heights continues to move forward. And what the plan is starting to look like is that an interchange might be needed at the Galt's Mill Road Bridge at 29. That Galt's Mill Road connects to Bryant Road, which heads right into the planning area. Now, I don't know, is this the time? I don't want to get something published and then, you know, we're crashing forward. But at this point in time, we do know this, you know, we are looking at Galt's Mill Road and that area there for a way to connect to 29 right into the heart of Madison Heights. You know, a large 300-acre planning development area. I don't know what to do with that information, but I throw it out there and, you know.
Rick Youngblood, do you have any thoughts on whether that should be added now or maybe to an update next year?
Man, at the level that we're at and ready to pass resolutions supporting this, I think we take that planning study and test it as a part of the live document, utilizing the My Sidewalk platform, and move forward. Doesn't say that it's not an important project, but at this stage, I just say that we use that and move forward as part of the live document test.
I don't have any problem
So Dean,
with that.
there's going to be a package of updates that will be done next year. Those will include, hopefully, completion of the constrained budget list once we get the constrained budget from the state, further development of the bicycle and pedestrian section, and we can easily add in the project that you mentioned when we do that update.
And we would have it more fleshed out by then anyway. So I just kind of want to be on record that it's coming. Let Chris know.
Yeah, Chris, start saving some money. Are there any other questions about the plan? If not, and of course you can ask in a minute as well, but I want to go ahead and just show you, we don't have the draft of our long-range plan dashboard ready to show you, but I wanted to show you an example of what they can look like. This is the Portland, Maine dashboard, and it just has several different sections that we're going to take information from the plan and load it into this website before, the plan would just be a PDF that would just sit around and wait for people to download it or read it or whatever. But this is going to be hopefully a little bit more interactive with folks. So it'll have information on demographics. That data will be updated automatically when it becomes available. It'll have information on the funding that comes in to the area, and also mapping that'll show priority areas, projects. You can actually go into the map and click on areas to see what kind of projects are proposed. There will be information on highway safety, pedestrian crashes, vehicle crashes, whether those trends are going up and down. You can also see dangerous intersections. We're working on loading this data in right now for our area, so you can see kind of, if you go in and click, you can see how many crashes at the intersection are there, all kinds of stuff like that. So in the next several weeks, we're going to be working on finishing loading the data, and then we're going to show the draft to the technical committee. We want for them to just kind of go through and make sure that they think it's easily readable and understandable. And we plan to launch fairly soon in October, but it's something that can always be updated as we move along. So we'll let you know when it's time to take a look at it, but just wanted to give you a heads up about it as well. So John, you might entertain any more questions.
Yes, so are there any questions from any members? All right. If not, thank you, Phil. Appreciate the presentation. All right. Next, I think we have our public hearing for the Connect Central Virginia 2045 plan. And the Central Virginia Transportation Planning Organization welcomes public participation in order to provide for an equitable opportunity for all those interested in providing comment. The following procedure will be practiced during electronic meetings. Individuals who wish to speak during the public comment period of a hearing or meeting are directed to use the chat feature to identify themselves by typing their name in the chat dialog box. All submissions will be recorded by staff. During the public comment period, staff will read the names of those provided in order received, and each participant will be unmuted and allowed to share their comments. Public comments will abide by a standard 3-minute time period, which can be extended at the CVTPO policy board's discretion with approval of a majority of its members. All right, so do we have anyone today that is here in the meeting to speak, that would like to speak about the Connect Central Virginia 2045 plan?
John, I would just comment that this public hearing has been duly advertised. There has been a 30-day public comment period. We have received comments on the plan from stakeholders, members of our different localities and state and federal partners. No direct comments from the public have been received during the last 30 days. I don't see any activity in the chat box, and I don't see any unknown people in the meeting right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Scott. So with no one signed up to speak, we'll move to agenda item number 5, and consideration of a resolution adopting the Connect Central Virginia 2045 plan. I'll entertain anyone that may have a motion to adopt the plan or the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, this is Frank. I move approval of the resolution.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Rogers. Do we have a second?
This is Dean Rogers. I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Rogers. And so we have a first and a second. Is there anyone, again, for this, for those that have been attending on Zoom, I'm going to ask if there's anyone that would like to deny the resolution. All right, hearing none, the resolution has been adopted. Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Smith. We have an introduction to make.
Right. Thank you, John. I'd like to introduce Ada Hunsberger, who is, well, she's in the top right corner of my screen. I don't know where she is on yours. Ada is our new regional planner who has joined us starting September 1st. She is going to be your new staffer for the TPO. Philip Gavatuller, who's on the call as well, is going to be managing the Department of Rail and Public Transit side of the program, and Ada will be working on what we call the PL and SPR, or the DDOT sides of the program. So Ada, would you like to say a few words about yourself now that you've muted yourself?
No, I just thought there was some feedback. So I'm Ada. I have a master's of urban and regional planning from the University at Albany. Most of my research has been in stakeholder engagement and hazard mitigation and ADA compliance. So I look forward to working with all of you, and hopefully I can be a resource to you in the coming months.
All right,
Great.
well, welcome, Ada. Yeah, welcome. We look forward to working with you. All right, moving on to matters from members. So do we have any matters that members would like to bring to the floor? Hearing none, it's a quiet bunch today. I can understand it's a light agenda. A couple informational items that I want to bring to everyone's attention. Let's see, the next scheduled meeting for the TPO will be 4 p.m. January 21st, unless there is anything that may become, that may need to come up in September. There's nothing planned there. Scott, do you want to speak a little bit on that?
Sure. Normally, the TPO policy board meets quarterly, so January, April, July, and October. As you all are well aware, we've been meeting more often than quarterly in the past number of months, trying to get the long-range plan wrapped up. So we don't, since the resolution to adopt the plan was adopted today, we don't see any reason to hold a meeting in October. So the proposal would be to go ahead and cancel that and move toward our January regularly scheduled meeting.
All right, thank you, Scott. Unless there's anything further, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, if I could interject just a minute. Sure. To thank EPR for the work they did on our long range plan. I think they've done a good job over the years, and we appreciate their help. And to thank Scott Smith for his work for the TPO over the years. The PDC will have a resolution for him at the next meeting, but this will be his swan song as he moves west. So Scott, we appreciate your help.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would agree with those sentiments. Thank you, Mr. Christie and Scott. Yes, we appreciate all your work, and good luck in Missouri. Okay, so all right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you. I think that was Mr. Tuggle. So thank you, Mr. Tuggle. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, we'll do it this time, right? Thank you. Y'all have a good afternoon.
And PDC members come back at 5 o'clock on this same channel. Thanks, everybody.
Gary, Gary, do we need to keep this meeting open until 5, or can we close it and reopen it?
I would keep it open. I don't know what will happen if we close it down, whether we get back in or not.
I don't know. Frank Rogers said he wants to be in a meeting until 5, so he's going to hang out. All right, we'll leave it open.